Welcome everyone to a brand new project. I'm currently working on a huge datapack project and I just wanted to let you guys know where I'm up to with things and give you an update on what's going on right now. So obviously in 1.16.2, Mojang introduced the ability to add custom dimensions and biomes to your Minecraft worlds. Currently what's recommended is that we can simply add biomes to the nether, and we can also create new dimensions and also slightly modify the dimensions in the overworld and the end as well. Now if you didn't know, the overworld and the end use a biome generation source called vanilla layered and the end respectively, and those generation types cannot be customized. Now multi-noise, which is the new system used to generate the nether, is hugely customizable. You can add new biomes to it. You can specify 5 different parameters per biome, which are altitude, humidity, temperature, offset, and weirdness. Not in that order obviously, but never mind. And what I'm trying to do right now is rebuild the vanilla layered generation type but using multi-noise. And what that would mean is we can add new biomes and even more easily customize the biomes in the overworld. Now this is a huge project. It might take a long time for me to get this all right, but I have had a huge breakthrough that has sparked me to start working on the project today. So we're going to head over to a browser now and I'll show you what I mean. So right here you can see we have the dimension generator. This is on miso.github.io. I was shown this a little while back. I was actually already using it for its loot table generator. Did I just remove everything? No, okay, still here, good. I was already using this for its loot table generator. It's a great website that has really accurate Minecraft datapack generation things inside it, and you can use this to create really cool things, as you can see here. Now, what I actually found, having done a bit of research into how the new biome generation techniques work, is that Mojang actually started to convert, this is my theory anyway, I think that Mojang started to convert vanilla layered into multi-noise, because as shown here on the Minecraft Gamepedia, biome parameter defaults, these are the default values used for each biome in the multi-noise biome source. Interestingly, although only the values for nether biomes are accessible through a preset, several overworld biomes have default values as well, and you can see those values down here. So this little graph that you can see includes, the warped forest, soul sand valley, nether wastes, the kind of nether biomes that you'd expect to have these 5 parameters used, because the nether now uses multi-noise as its biome source. My theory is that Mojang started converting all of this stuff to multi-noise, as you can see here. Now, I've made a chart on, Google Docs. I like to call it Excel. It's not actually Excel, is it? But yeah, as you can see here, we have all the different overworld biomes on the left-hand side, all 69 of them, wonderfully. And as you can see here, the different altitude and temperature, humidity, all the different values that we have provided by Mojang already are actually really, really helpful. Because as you can see here, if I just full screen this a little bit, there it is. You can see here that we have the... That's a bit funky. There it is. So this right here is what the world will look like. And you can see here each color corresponds to a color of a biome. So we have Badlands, Badlands Plateau, Bamboo Jungle Hills, Beach, Birch Forest, and so on. And you can see here, this is how they're going to generate when we look at the world. Now, if we go back to Minecraft just quickly, you can actually see this is somewhat accurate to the world that we're seeing. Every single layer that you see on this graph right here corresponds to a biome within the world, as you can see here. Now, this looks a little bit jank. As you can see, we have a really long and thin plains biome and a really wide beach and a very spherical ocean, I guess. So it's not perfect, obviously. It was never going to be perfect. My theory is this is just vanilla layered as multi-noise, but without all the existing biomes. So this is kind of like an incomplete situation for what Mojang would want to go for. And as you can see here, by filling in all those parameters, we get quite a nice varied number of biomes that do correspond to a relatively good looking world. As you can see here, we have a decent amount of each biome that's included. We have jungle, we have bamboo jungle, we have ocean, beach, plains, badlands, badlands plateau, snowy tundra, and there's desert over there as well. So you can see almost every single biome that we'd need to take into account using the things that we've been given so far work perfectly. Now, one thing someone told me about quite early into this process was a thing called what was it called? Limitations of multi-noise on Planet Minecraft. I'll go and get that up actually now. Planetminecraft.com. Limitations. Have I got it on my thing? Let's see. Multi-noise. Vanilla layer, there it is. So right here, there it is. So this is a data pack by the wonderful Aelf? I don't know how you say that. Basically, this is his attempt at recreating the vanilla layered with multi-noise. So someone has already done what I'm trying to do right here, but this is why I'm doing it again. Now, as you can see here, this thing looks pretty good. It has the same kind of thing that I'm currently experiencing, where the biomes do look quite sharp, and you can see that they're sort of like bubbles, as opposed to the really kind of like jaggedy vanilla biomes that you would expect from vanilla layered. Now, that isn't a huge problem, but the reason why I'm more interested in redoing this process is because, of course, I have now discovered this thing right here where Mojang has actually already filled in some of the blanks for us ahead of time, which is absolutely fantastic. So just to give you an idea of what I'm doing right now, I'm going to put this back to how it was because it looks really weird now. There we go. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill in the rest of the values in this chart right here. I'm going to come up with an altitude, temperature, humidity, weirdness, and offset for every single other vanilla biome in the game, which isn't that many looking at it now. And, you know, for a lot of these, it's a lot of really expected values as well. So offset is always 1 from what I've seen here. The only time it's not been 1 so far was on beach. And I think the reason for that is to try and make the beaches a bit smaller, because if this value is smaller, then it's basically going to mean that this biome is sort of like, this biome itself is smaller than the surrounding biomes, I think. I'm still struggling to figure out what these are. I'm going to watch Sly Slime's video again and try and get a better idea of how the multi-noise biome source works, and then I'm going to come back to this, and we're going to try and recreate vanilla layered from the ground up. So anyway, just wanted to give you guys a quick update on Artibus. This is a new project that I've been planning for quite some time now, given that we had the new introduction of custom biomes and dimensions in the game. Now, just some ideas of what I'm planning on for the future of this project. I have plans for multiple custom dimensions, which would be survival friendly, with an incentive to go there and actually obtain things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get or not get as easily. And I also have plans to add a number of overworld dimensions, not dimensions. I also have a plan to add a number of overworld biomes as well. Just really cool biomes I think are missing from the vanilla game. And that's it, really. So, yeah, it's going to be really fun. We are going to have custom loot tables, custom recipes, and custom other things as well going forward. But obviously, given that my previous datapack experiences got really complicated really quickly, I'm going to try and stick to whatever vanilla has provided to us so far. So that means changing things that are kind of quote-unquote designed to be changed. So again, loot tables, recipes, structures, that kind of thing. But first of all, I am really looking forward to playing around with the multi-noise biome source. I think it's really, really interesting. And yeah, hopefully I can get a few more biomes plugged in here and come back with a quick update. So I'll be right back, and I'll try some new values, and we'll see what we can get. Okay, so as a quick experiment, I've added 3 more biomes to our list of biomes. That literally took me less than 5 minutes to think about these values, and obviously I would need to play around with these the more values that we have. But obviously the more biomes that we add, the more complicated this is going to get, and it's going to be more difficult to make sure that each biome does even, you know, show up occasionally, because that's the problem that vanilla has with things like Mountain Edge and Deep Warm Ocean. They just simply don't ever turn up because their values are so scarce. So we're going to try and avoid things like that happening. Going to make sure that all the biomes can be found in our new generation system. But as you can see here, these are the first 3 biomes that I have now filled in the blanks for. So once again, starting off with an offset of 1 for all of these. I think when we get to things like Stone Shore and Snowy Beach, we're going to use this value of 0.9935 for the beaches, and that's kind of how I'm doing this. I'm extrapolating the data from other biomes and using that as what we're going off of. So now, Cold Ocean was the first one that I had to come up with here. As you can see, Warm Ocean has an altitude of minus 0.25, whereas regular ocean has minus 0.5. Now, my reasoning for this is that oceans would be like the neutral ground, and the ones in between oceans and specific temperate islands would be warm and cold oceans. So warm oceans are 0.25, and cold oceans are also 0.25, as you can see there. Temperature is minus 0.5, simply because snowy tundra down here is also minus 0.5. Humidity is 0, because all the oceans seem to have a humidity of 0, so I'm going to stick with that. And weirdness 0 once again. I figure the weirdness value, since it's only 0.2 for these 4 biomes and 0 for everything else, is more of like a backup value if something isn't showing up. So if a biome is really rare or really small, I'm going to increase its weirdness value slightly and see what that comes up with. But for now, I'm probably going to leave that at 0 for all of these. And again, 1 offset as already discussed. I've also now added Dark Forest and Dark Forest Hills. Now again, my inspiration for this was the Birch Forest and Birch Forest Hills. These are 0 and 0.25 for altitude respectively. Bamboo Jungle and Bamboo Jungle Hills also appear to work the same way. So if it's a hills biome, then it's 0.25 on the altitude, which makes perfect sense. We also have a temperature of 0, simply because plains, basically. Plains, as you can see down here, has 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 for everything. It's the most general biome, as anyone would expect. So I'm basically going off of that to discover the dark forest temperature. Now, weirdly enough, With the dark forest, in my mind, it's going to be relatively humid because there's a lot of trees there and it's quite dark. And usually things that are quite dark and vivid would have more rainfall, I guess. Obviously, everything in Minecraft gets the same amount of rainfall because that's how it works. But yeah, I figured I'd take the birch forest and birch forest hills and increase these values slightly. And basically what this means is dark forest and dark forest hills, they're actually identical to birch forest and birch forest hills, but they have 0.1 higher on the humidity for both of those, as you can see there. Now, this might not work at all. I'm yet to try this one, so I'm going to paste it into the world right now. The way I do this right here is every time I've added new biomes on the left here, you can see I have the full JSON data on the right. I can just click it, Control A, Control C, open up the JSON file, paste it, save it, and then open the game. And unfortunately, reloading data packs does not work with this new stuff, so you have to save and quit. Which may take a while because this stuff is quite intense. And then, of course, you have to load the world up again. I'm finding that loading the terrain in these multi-noise generation systems is really taxing on your computer. I recently upgraded my PC, and my CPU is quite hefty now. But it still struggles. Like you can see here, I'm playing on 34 render distance, and loading terrain that I've already seen before isn't that big of a deal. Even whilst recording, I'm not really having that many issues. It's working absolutely fine. But when I go into new areas with terrain that I haven't generated before, it's going to be slow. So what I'm going to be doing is TPing myself to new areas that I haven't yet loaded. So we'll do my location plus 50,000, and then my location. And you can see here, it will take about 20 to 30 seconds to actually start loading in the terrain properly. And we can hopefully get an idea of whether or not our new 3 biomes have been added. Okay, here we go. So again, we're looking for dark forest hills, and also cold ocean as well. So see, we have snowy tundra here. So in theory, that means that there should be a cold ocean nearby. Does that count as cold ocean? This is cold ocean? Okay, perfect. That's okay. It's a small ocean, but it's fine. This is the problem. I think because we don't have enough biomes, you do occasionally get things like that. But we'll try and make sure that doesn't happen too much. And there we go. There is a dark oak forest biome right here. Perfect. That is working really nicely. So as you can see, adding these biomes in isn't the most difficult thing, but the difficulty is going to arise when there are literally 70 biomes in the game. And when I go to add my additional ones, I've got things planned like Alps and cursed forest and so many other different things that we could do. But yeah, it's going to get even more difficult as we go by, unfortunately. But it's still really fun to see how this stuff works. And it's really cool to sort of like craft a world from the ground up. You know, like I can predict and plan where all of these biomes are going to spawn and then work with that. And it's really cool. Right now, you can see we have way too much birch forest hills. it's like everywhere. But again, that's kind of like what I want to figure out as well. I'm thinking of plotting all of the values on like a 3D graph and then basically trying to make sure that the median value for every value goes back to 0. And that should, in theory, mean that we have a relatively fair spawning system. What the fuck? What the fuck, man? This is from the Badlands. Yeah, because look, it's dark oak from the Badlands. It just spills into the birch forest really badly. That's crazy. Look at that. Look how far... That's just right on the surface. That's so weird. And then there's just a lilac. It's so weird, man. Never mind. Anyway, I'm going to keep playing around. I'm going to keep inserting more values, and hopefully I'll be able to come back to you guys with a working example sometime soon. I would love to start messing with things like biome altitude and all the different settings for noise parameters so we can get some crazy looking custom biomes in here. But first of all, my main priority is just simply getting a working vanilla layered copy that I can put on Planet Minecraft myself, first of all, for other people to use and edit to add their own biomes to in the future. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little update, and hopefully you're excited for the new biome generation as much as I am. If you guys are interested in following my work and my progress on this, you're welcome to join the Discord below. I'm going to be posting updates in the Artibus channel from now on. And of course, if you did find this video from YouTube or elsewhere and you are interested in seeing more of my content, then you're welcome to subscribe and hit that bell so, you know, your phone can obnoxiously remind you that I've posted some shit for you to watch. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one, and take care, and yeah, bye.